Om Sai, Shri Sai Satcharitra, Chapter 30. In this chapter, the story of two more devotees that were drawn to Shirdi is narrated. Preliminary. Bow to the kind Sai, who is the abode of mercy and who is affectionate towards his devotees. By his mere darshan, he does away with their fear of this bhav and destroys these calamities. He was first Nirgun, but on account of the devotion of his bhaktas, he was obliged to take a form. To give liberation, self-realization to the bhaktas is the mission of the saints, and for Sai, the chief of them, that mission is inevitable. Those who take refuge in his feet have all their sins destroyed and their progress is certain. Remembering his feet, Brahmins from holy places come to him and read scriptures and chant the Gayatri mantra in his presence. We who are weak and without any merits do not know what bhakti is, but we know this much, that though all others may leave us, Sai won't forsake us. Those whom he favors get enormous strength, discrimination between the unreal and the real, and knowledge. Sai knows fully the desire of his devotees and fulfills the same. Hence, they get what they want and are grateful. So we invoke him and prostrate ourselves before him. Forgetting all our faults, let him free us from all anxieties. He who, being overcome with calamities, remembers and prays Sai thus, will get his mind calmed and peace pacified through his grace. This Sai, the ocean of mercy, says Hemadpant, favored him, and the result of this is the present work, Sai Satcharitra. Otherwise, what qualifications had he, and who would undertake this enterprise? But as Sai took all the responsibility, Hemadpant felt no burden nor any care about this. When the powerful light of knowledge was there to inspire his speech and pen, why should he entertain any doubt or feel any anxiety? Sai got the service in the form of this book done by him. This is due to the accumulation of his merits in the past births, and therefore he thinks himself fortunate and blessed. The following story is not a mere tale, but pure nectar. He who drinks it will realize Sai's greatness and all pervasiveness. Those who want to argue and criticize should not go in for these stories. What is wanted here is not discussion, but unlimited love and devotion. Learned, devout, and faithful believers, or those who consider themselves as servants of the saints, will like and appreciate these stories. Others will take them to be fables. The fortunate bhaktas of Sai will find the Sai Leelas as the Kalpatru, that is, wish-fulfilling tree. Drinking this nectar of Sai Leelas will give liberation to the ignorant jivas, satisfaction to the householders, and a sadhana to the aspirants. Now to tell the story of this chapter. First one, Kakaji Vaidya. There lived in Vani, Nasik district, a man named Kakaji Vaidya. He was the priest of goddess Saptshringi. He was so much overwhelmed with adverse circumstances and calamities that he lost peace of mind and became quite restless. Under such circumstances, one evening he went into the temple of the goddess and praised unto her from the bottom of his heart and invoked her aid to free him from anxiety. The goddess was pleased with his devotion, and the same night appeared to him in his dream and said to him, "You go to Baba, and then your mind will become calm and composed." Kakaji was anxious to know from her who that Baba was, but before he could get any explanation, he was awakened. Then he began to think as to who might be that Baba to whom the goddess has asked him to go. After some thinking, he resolved that this Baba might be Trimbakeshwar, Lord Shiva. So he went to the holy place Trimbak and stayed there for 10 days. During this period, he bathed early in the morning, chanted the Rudra hymns, did the Abhishekam, and did other religious rites. But with all that, he was as restless as before. Then he returned to his place and again invoked the goddess most pitifully. That night, she again appeared in his dream and said, "Why did you go to Trimbakeshwar in vain? I mean by Baba Shri Sai Samarth of Shirdi." The question before Kakaji now was, how and when to go to Shirdi and how to see Baba. If anybody is in real earnest to see a saint, not only the saint, but God also fulfills his wish. In fact, the Sant and the Anant are one and the same. There is not the least difference between them. If anybody thinks that he will go himself and see a saint, that will be a mere boast, unless the saint wills it, who is able to go and see him. Even the leaf of the tree won't move without his bidding. The more anxious a bhakta is for the saint's visit, the more devout and faithful he is, the more speedily and effectively is his wish satisfied to his heart's content. He who invites anybody for a visit also arranges everything for his reception. And so it happened with Kakaji. Shama's woes. When Kakaji was thinking his visit to Shirdi, a guest came to him at his place to take him to Shirdi. He was no other than Shama, a very close and intimate devotee of Baba. How he came to Vani at this juncture we shall just see. Shama was severely ill when he was very young, and his mother had taken a vow to her family goddess Saptshringi at Vani that if the son got well, she would bring and dedicate him at her feet. Then after some years, the mother herself suffered much from ringworms on her breast. At that time, she again took another vow to her deity that if she got all right, she would offer her 2 silver breasts. These 2 vows remained unfulfilled. At her deathbed, she called her son Shama to her and drew his attention to the vows, and after taking a promise from him that he would fulfill them, she breathed her last. After some time, Shama quite forgot about these vows, and thus 30 years elapsed. About this time, a famous astrologer had come to Shirdi and stayed there for a month. His predictions in the case of Shriman Bhuti and others came true, and everybody was satisfied. Shama's younger brother, Babaji, consulted him and was told that his mother's vows, which his elder brother promised to fulfill at her deathbed, were not yet fulfilled. Hence the goddess was displeased with them and bringing troubles on them. Babaji told this to his brother Shama, who was then reminded of the unfulfilled vows. Thinking that any further delay would be dangerous, he called a goldsmith and got a pair of silver breasts prepared. Then he went to the masjid, prostrated himself before Baba, and placing before him the 2 silver breasts, requested him to accept them and free him from the woes, as he was to him his Sapshringi goddess. Then Baba insisted upon him to go himself to the temple of Sapshringi and offer them in person at the feet of the goddess. Then, after taking Baba's permission and Udi, he left for Vani and, searching for the priest, came to Kakaji's house. Kakaji was then very anxious to visit Baba, and Shama went there to see him at that very time. What a wonderful coincidence is this! Kakaji asked him who he was and whence he had come, and on learning that he came from Shirdi, he at once embraced him. So overpowered was he with love. Then they talked about Sai Leelas, and after finishing the rites of Shama's vows, they both started for Shirdi. On reaching the place, Kaka went to the masjid and fell at Baba's feet. His eyes were soon bedewed with tears, and his mind attained calmness. According to the vision of the goddess, no sooner did he see Baba that his mind lost all its restlessness and it became calm and composed. Kakaji began to think in his mind, what a wonderful power is this! Baba spoke nothing. There was no question and answer, no benediction pronounced. The mere darshan itself was so conducive to happiness. The restlessness of my mind disappeared by his mere darshan. Consciousness of joy came upon me. This is what is called the greatness of darshan. His vision was fixed on Sai's feet, and he could utter no word. Hearing Baba's Leelas, his joy knew no bounds. He surrendered himself completely to Baba, forgot his anxiety and cares, and got undiluted happiness. He lived happily there for 12 days, and after taking Baba's leave, Udi and blessings, returned home. Khushalchand of Rahata. It is said that a dream which we get in the small hours of the morning generally comes out true in the waking state. This may be so, but regarding Baba's dream, there is no restriction of time. To quote an instance, Baba told Kaka Sahib Dikshit one afternoon to go to Rahata and fetch Khushalchand to Shirdi, as he had not seen him since long. Kaka Sahib accordingly took a tanga and went to Rahata. He saw Khushalchand and gave him Baba's message. Hearing it, Khushalchand was surprised and said that he was taking a noon nap after meals when Baba appeared in his dream and asked him to come to Shirdi immediately, and that he was anxious to go. As he had no horse of his own nearby, he had sent his son to inform Baba. When his son was just out of the village border, Dikshit's tanga turned up. Dikshit then said that he was sent specially to bring him. Then they both went in the tanga back to Shirdi. Khushalchand saw Baba and all were pleased. Seeing this Leela of Baba, Khushalchand was much moved. Punjabi Ramlal of Bombay. Once a Punjabi Brahmin of Bombay named Ramlal got a dream in which Baba appeared and asked him to come to Shirdi. Baba appeared to him as a Mahant, but he did not know his whereabouts. He thought that he should go and see him, but as he knew not his address, he did not know what to do. But he who calls anybody for an interview makes the necessary arrangements for the same. The same happened in this case. The same afternoon, when he was strolling in the streets, he saw a picture of Baba in a shop. The features of the Mahant he saw in the dream exactly tallied with those of the picture. Then, making inquiries, he came to know that the picture was of Sai Baba of Shirdi. He then went soon after to Shirdi and stayed there till his death. In this way, Baba brought his devotees to Shirdi for darshan and satisfied their wants, material as well as spiritual. Bow to Shri Sai. Peace be to all. Om Sai. Om Sai. Shri Sai Satcharitra, Chapter 30. In this chapter, the story of two more devotees that were drawn to Shirdi is narrated. Preliminary. Bow to the kind Sai, who is the abode of mercy and who is affectionate towards his devotees. By his mere darshan, he does away with their fear of this bhav and destroys these calamities.